You can create the new beginning that you long to create. You can have the quality and the love and relationship that you long to know. You can truly have financial freedom. These desires, these hopes, they are your reality. And it's your willingness to continue to stretch yourself beyond what's comfortable, beyond what's difficult. There's some simple practices, understandings, and reminders that I use every single day, sometimes even moment to moment. And if you have a hunger to live with less stress and more fulfillment and to truly find a kinder way, let me find or share with you 5 keys for a beautiful life. By the way, it could be 5 keys for a beautiful life, 5 keys to inner freedom, 5 keys to a kinder way. And for those of you who are at home and you're like, hey, I've got my way, we all have different ways that we come home. These are just practices that I simply do. And when I was heading into this program, I was really deeply reflecting and starting to put together how do I do it? How do I catch myself? So the first key is called choose to tidy up. What does this mean? Be aware of no junk in. You know, it blows my mind because as women, we're so aware of what we put in our bodies. We're so aware of freaking gluten-free and extra calories and the sugar and this and that. But what's so powerful is the awareness of what are we feeding and putting into our minds. And so tidying up is becoming aware of what we're putting in and literally digesting in our minds the empty calories that are no longer needed. Everything from excess social media, news, celebrity magazines, television. And so just become aware. I'll share a little story that seems so insignificant, but it was actually really powerful. Tony and I, we used to do events in Sydney, Australia. And so we'd fly out of LAX, and I don't know, it was maybe a 12 to 13-hour flight. And we'd stop at the local newsstand, and I would go in the magazine store, and I'd get a bunch of kind of celebrity magazines, you know, gossip kind of magazines. And I remember one day I was at the cash register, and I had maybe about 6. And I was looking down at them, and I thought, what are you doing? What am I doing? What am I doing this for? And I literally picked up my basket. I went and I put each one back. And it was just, I don't know, it wasn't even a conscious choice. It felt more like a happening. It was just a falling away. And what I notice is now, you know, I have a little roll bag and I bring my books of things that just spiritually renew my mind and heart. And I didn't recognize, but looking back now, I was just I was in other people's businesses reading these. You know, we've got enough going on in here, and we can so innocently miss. Another thing I did, just as a simple choice, and none of these things you have to do. It's just an invitation. I have found it to be incredibly helpful. I took social media off my phone. That creates a distance. And I have an old device, you know, it's like a 4-year-old device, and I just put social media on there. And what I love about that, if I'm going to go onto social media in any way, shape, or form, it's very conscious. I have to go find the phone. I need to make sure it's charged. Because when it's on our actual phone, it's just so easy and, you know, accessible. And so we can just so innocently get lost in that rabbit hole. Number 2, I also turned off all news prompts and notifications. I feel like just once again, just all those constant, innocent interruptions. Another thing, and if I'm curling up with my honey at night and we're watching like a, you know, Netflix special or on Apple, I'm just conscientious at this stage of what I'm putting in, what we're putting into our minds before we go to sleep. So all these seem like simple things, but it's becoming aware of the junk in. One more practice that I really love is when you wake up in the morning, don't make it your very first that, you know, I'm looking at this phone first thing. Wake up. Hey, wow, thank you. Thank you for this life. Connects us to the truth of this existence. And sometimes as we just connect on our phones, we can lose that. All right, so remember, no junk in. Number 2, choose harmony instead of adding to the schism. What does that mean? No junk out. Becoming aware of our words. Words carry power. They're a currency to them. My mom used to always say to me, Bonnie Pearl, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And gosh, that was truth. And by the way, this doesn't mean that we have to be harmonious every moment. Every single thing I'm saying, it's about catching ourselves. It's about catching ourselves. If you hear something coming out of your mouth that isn't aligned with your heart, catch yourself. Tidy it up. Choose not to add to the schism. And I have to tell you, as you begin these practices, it's been my experience that we tap into a greater level of joy, more ease of being. And so what is this, going deeper into what does this look like? If you just become aware that I used to say to myself, Bonnie Pearl, don't be so dramatic. Don't perpetuate the drama. Specifically, stop complaining. We don't even recognize how much we complain, you guys. You wake up in the morning, you go outside, and it's like, oh, wow, it's so hot outside. You wake up, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so freaking tired. You get in your car, and it's like, look at all this traffic. Complain, complain, complain. We don't even realize that it's so innocent. Mind is just complaining and judging. And so as you catch yourself, I remember a stage in our life that was really acute. And I was like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to eliminate I'm tired from my vernacular, from my vocabulary. And it was a game changer. And so just become aware of the patterns and the complaints, because you'll notice they're habitual. What else is so beautiful is in that space where complaints once were, our consciousness starts to notice what's blessed, what's beautiful. How do I do this specifically? I'll ask, what's blessed in this situation? Where's the good in this? Where's the gift in this? Those questions align and guide our consciousness to literally find what's blessed and to connect to the miracle. Last point of this is stop the gossip and trouble talk. That also includes nasty comments on social media. The world is laden with opinions. Our opinions literally are irrelevant. My opinions are irrelevant. They don't change the world. But what blesses the world is exactly what we're doing here. It's so stunning. With women, we're such natural connectors, and there's an innocence sometimes in our ways that we connect, and sometimes it can be habitual. You go out, you grab a cup of coffee, you're having a glass of wine, and maybe talking about a coworker or a family member or a neighbor. So if you hear yourself, stop it. Number 2, share a broader perspective, because here's something I always notice. Anything that's coming out of my mouth that's been a judgment or gossip about another, I've done it myself at some point in time. Who can relate to that? Isn't that so interesting? Yes. So if you hear, and if others are gossiping, you don't have to make them wrong. Just don't participate. Or add something kind. Add a fuller perspective. Add something beautiful about this human being. Because the truth is we can all miss. We can all go blind. We can all screw up in moments. Not even screw up, just miss. Just miss. I can't remember whether it's the Latin, but the root of sin means to miss. So if we miss, I think that's the blessedness of just compassion, recognize we're all human. Number 3, the third key, choose to take 100% responsibility. So now that we're aware of what we're putting in and we're aware of what we're actually putting out, the focus becomes what can we actually shift? And what's so powerful, what does taking 100% responsibility look like? Let me give you some examples. Because the power lies in shifting from the external blame, catching ourselves. She did this, he did this. That's what it sounds like. They always do this. Gosh, you know what? He should have, she should have, they should have. So as our finger points outward, here's the beautiful thing. Point it back. And see, where do I do that? Where do I do that? And then tidy that up, because we're one another's mirror. Whatever you see, whatever irritates you in another human being, it's because we do that ourselves. So choosing to go first, you guys, this is leadership. That's what self-responsibility and ownership looks like. What does this sound like? What does this feel like? I'll give you some examples from my own world. So rather than blaming, you're in a circumstance. Say if I'm with my husband and I'm feeling stacked for something or I'm feeling charged. It's the moment I become aware, hey, I'm asleep. I'm in the drama. I've got the finger. I'm thinking it's him. It's not me. Honey, do you know what? This is what it sounds like. Honey, do you know what? I haven't been my best self. Can we begin again? Can we reset right now? This is so powerful because what it does is it connects us. Blaming separates us. That's why it's so freaking painful. And the blame also, it puts the power where? We give our power away because we're wanting somebody external to change. I don't know about you, but I've never changed a single human being on this planet. Only myself. This is the only one. This is the one I can shift. This is the one you can shift. Because we have the capacity to rise above the noise. And not only the noise of the world, but even more importantly, the noise of our own minds. It's literally life-changing. And it's not just something practical, it's intelligent, it's thoughtful. Why? Because it literally affects our own well-being. So if you think that if you connect to okay, 100% responsibility, it's in recognizing that's my job. That's your job, okay? And because when we really do this and we practice these keys, we connect to our nature. We connect to our nature and to the capacity that there was many of you, I saw some of the comments of, how do I lead? I want to be a leader. I'm a woman. I'm just a wife, but I want to lead. This is what leadership looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like, a human being having the clarity of mind, the center and the groundedness and going first and saying, do you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not being my best self right now. I said that comment and I can imagine what that felt like. I'm sorry. Can we begin again? Oh my goodness, I've been thinking this was all you and I didn't see my puzzle piece. That is true leadership. And you guys, this is so powerful and so impactful in your relationships in all directions. Number 4, choose your tribe and choose your people. Tony always says, who we spend time with is who we actually become. Yes, absolutely, your tribe. And this is what we've experienced over these last few days of life. We've consciously chosen our community and our sisterhood of how to relate and how to connect and how to be. And it's my experience that as we find our people, as we connect to our tribe, it's just such a powerful catalyst to have the support and the understanding of like-minded and like-hearted people around us. And it's a resonance, isn't it? It's a resonance of common values. And in that space, in the space of community, it's healing. It's celebratory to lift one another up and to support one another, which leads me to my 5th key. Choose to be a blessing. Choose to be a blessing. And by the way, that's what we've been doing to one another, offering to one another through our comments, through our shares, through our understanding, through our acknowledgement, through our appreciation, through our support. Everything that we've been doing here these last few days, it's been so stunning and beautiful to see, to literally bless one another's lives. When somebody's been having a challenge and feeling the collective of the community and everybody just, we see you, you can do it. Who's related and just felt so impacted by the blessedness? Yes, me too, the kindness, the generosity. And by the way, when I mention about being a blessing and it's outside this community, same goes. It can be as simple as a gesture or kindness or sharing goodness or a compliment. Being a blessing doesn't mean that we have to go and figure our whole life out and, oh my gosh, I want to find my purpose. Because innocently, sometimes when we're looking for our purpose, we miss the intimacy of this moment and whoever this beautiful divine experience has placed in front of you. It's our capacity to love. It means being present, holding space for our beloveds, for our children. And it's a gift of being present and really, our children, our beloveds, our family members, our parents, being able to walk our parents home in dignity, to be able to walk them home in love, to be able to bring this blessedness, this goodness, this caring, this shine upon our mother, our father. There's nothing more beautiful. Coming into this event about a month ago, I went up to Canada to be with my parents, and I thought I was going up for 3 days. And my mom has what most people would consider to be dementia. And going up, it was much more acute. It was much more acute than I had anticipated. And I was sitting with my mom one day, and she said, honey, why am I such a nervous Nellie? Why do I feel scared all the time? By the way, we're not so different. The mind, you drop the identity of dementia. Human being, woman, mother. And I said, Mom, what do you mean? You're so brave. You're so freaking bold. And she said, but I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. And I'm like, Mom, you're just a mom. You're so beautiful. You're such a giver. You're such a lover. You've created beauty and a home, in our physical home, but in our hearts. You have such wicked intuition. My mom is so intuitive and instinctive. And Mom, you're such a guide. She's, been a partner with my father in Alcoholics Anonymous, and you've sponsored Mom, and you have like unreal organizational skills. My mother's like literally Marie Kondo. And I said, Mom, you've been a guide and a friend and a living example, Mom, of what love looks like. You've literally, I am who I am because of you. I would never be the woman I am. I would never have this capacity to love if it wasn't for your example, Mom. And I don't know how many of you can relate to, I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I'm just a teacher. Yeah, it's so innocent, isn't it? To dismiss these beautiful gifts of these paths, because really that's what it is. All these identities are just a way to show up and to share our gifts. That's what this is really all about. That's why we're here, these gifts of love and kindness and joy. The power of actually tuning in and claiming and connecting to our most authentic selves and being in service to one another and support of life itself. Because from this place, you can create the new beginning that you long to create. You can have the quality and the love and relationship that you long to know. You can truly have financial freedom. These desires, these hopes, they are your reality. And it's your willingness to continue to stretch yourself beyond what's comfortable, beyond what's difficult. We've created a new awareness, and now it's time for us to step through. Because here's the truth. We've barely even scratched the surface. Lasting change, true transformation, only happens through absolute and total immersion. Think about it. We don't go on a run or go on a yoga class or listen to a podcast and have the life and master life from that perspective. That's why it's so important to stay plugged in.